Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Tiger 1. It's a tier 7 German heavy tank. It's located on the south spawn of Malinovka and it's under the command of ProvoBob, and he's got, well, I can't actually see the equipment actually there, so I don't know what he's actually running, but I can presume he has got a rammer. Game on. Well, the Panzerkampfwagen 6 is the tank that most people would like to actually own when they start playing the game. And of course, then they later on find other tanks which are more desirable. They only built 1,347 of these tanks, but they actually did produce 492 of the Tiger II as well. Now, a lot of the tanks that they actually built were destroyed on the factory floor because the RAF did make sure that these factories got bombed. Now, the main armament was an 88mm main gun. It was actually capable of doing 280 alpha in this game and penetrating through 203mm of armor. With the APCR rounds, that goes up to 237. Now, it's a particularly powerful tank. It certainly was during the war, mainly down to reputation, because of course it was the Tiger tank, the tank that was virtually impossible to bring down. Later on in the war, they actually found ways of doing it though, with more powerful guns in other tanks. The Russians came up, the Soviets came up with the 85mm gun. And of course they came up with 122mm guns as well. But earlier on during the war, these tanks were being fought with just 76mm guns, and of course they would bounce the shells off the armor. It's actually famous that they did say that in order to bring down one Tiger tank, you needed 5 Sherman tanks, 5 M4s to do it. Because the Tiger would then kill each of the Shermans one by one as they were trying to outmaneuver the Tigers, and eventually it'd be the last M4 who get close enough to the Tiger to finish them off. Of course, it didn't always happen that way. Now, there were only a few of these actually captured during the war, and the most famous one is Tiger 131, but that's a premium tank in this game. So what's so different between this one and or any Tiger and other tanks? Well, it was down to that 88, the KWK-36L56, which was an extremely powerful gun which would go through most enemy tanks straight away. Okay, target, and it's a VK-3601H, which is the predecessor, or I should say predecessor? Yes. It's the ancestor of the Tiger 1. They came up with a number of designs. The VK-3601 was a 36-ton tank. Of course, the Tiger ended up being a 60-ton tank in the end, fully loaded. And of course, that was... you could see that it was actually built by Henschel rather than by Porsche. There's a Porsche Tiger there. Up ahead, they thought they got the contract and they didn't. You can see that he's exchanging fire with that Tiger, and the Tiger P is getting rounds through him, but he's firing back and he's getting good pens. Now, he has been hit in the tracks, he's also been hit in the body, and he's still pumping rounds into that Tiger P. And in fact, now he's got the Arty firing at him as well. Luckily, he's on this side of the windmill, and yes, there goes the Tiger P. Now, there is another Tiger P just around the corner, and he's still got a number of hit points, and we're bouncing rounds off the side. He's using that wreck for cover, but he leaves his rear open, and we're going to round through that. Oh, that enemy tank just went up. That was the Tiger 2, I think. Was it Tiger 131? And he's gone down as well. So now we're able to push. Yes, you can see it was the 3601H was there. There's another Tiger P, and that's also a Tiger P, and they've all gone down. So 5 up on the enemy at the moment. Now, it's a Maybach engine, a V12 petrol engine, or benzene as the Germans call it, 21.35 litres, and it generated 700 horsepower. It was a cast iron block as well. It's 4 litres smaller than the same Meteor engine, the V12, that was actually fitted in the Cromwells. Okay, T-34 in sight, making a run for it. He's auto-aimed on. He's also staying in tunnel vision for some time, and yes, the enemy Arty is having a go at him as well. Ideally, you need to, when you actually get to this level, when you're getting closer to them, it's much better to stay out of sniper view and to actually stay in third person and just use the cursor to actually place that on the target to make the shells go where you want them to go. That way you can see any enemy action that's going on around you, and if the enemy's trying to outmaneuver you. We missed on the Super Hellcat, and the Super Hellcat's still getting rounds into him though. That wasn't him who got the kill though. That was the VK2801-105, and that's it. That's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was a second-class tanker for ProvoBob in the Tiger 1. He managed to get his first mark of excellence out of that game, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, and a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, and a hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from at least 4 different enemy vehicles. He also picked up a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game and receiving at least 11 hits and over 1,000 hit points of damage and surviving. 3,381 was the win 8 of that game, so that's super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score. He didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to a Chi-2 SP, managed 2,122 hit points of damage, but he didn't get the high caliber either because he didn't have 20% of the enemy hit pool. Second highest, that went to ProvoBob, 2,009 hit points. And the third highest damage went to a GW Panther, who actually got a Confederate and 1,717 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, we can see the top scorers were the Chi-2 SP, ProvoBob, and the other Tiger 1, all had 2 kills, as well as the T-52 on the enemy team who've got 2 kills. There's only 4 players on the enemy team actually managed to get kills at all. But when it came to base XP, you can see ProvoBob was way out in front, 1,020. He's the only one to get over 1,000, with the GW Panther getting 833 and the Chi-2 SP getting 787. He fired 16 rounds in the game, got 10 direct hits on the enemy and 8 penetrations. 2,009 hit points of damage, all of it done at close range. 12 hits received, only 5 of which actually penetrated, 7 non-penetrations, and 2 hits by way of splash damage. 1,460 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 5 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, 826 hit points of damage assistance. And on a free-to-play account, he actually made a loss in this game of 38,113 credits, mostly down to the fact that he fired premium rounds rather than standard rounds. It is one of the tanks where it is better on the whole to actually just use standard ammo and try to maximize the damage using that. But when you do confront some difficult to destroy tanks, maybe such as the Tiger Ps, then you try to avoid having to go to premium rounds, but he did in this case. 1,530 experience points out of that game as well. So a good game in terms of getting his first mark of excellence and, of course, getting a steel wall, an epic medal. Well, it's a battle hero medal, actually, not an epic medal, this one, but it's still a good game nonetheless. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.